Just doing it.
Yeah, we'll go back through 17 since that.
That's a little tricky.
Yeah, I think it stands just a little mention. So 17 and 18 of Blessed is the Man. Okay, so 17. The only thing, it's got a lot of rhythm in the beginning, and that wasn't tremendously difficult because we've seen that before.
Right.
Then we switched to hard chromatic in the middle of that first line. Swish hard chromatic V, hard chromatic knee at the or diatonic knee at the end of the line. Second line, same deal, hard chromatic V, diatonic knee. And I just was telling Jeff on trembling, look at the melody. It again, it's rhythm, but it's the melody trembles. And so we'll sing through that one, and then we'll go through the other one. So serve ye the Lord with fear and rejoice in Him with trembling. Hallelujah. Cool. So is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. Next one, number 18. Lest at any time is kind of like we've already kind of seen that thing again. Yep. That's pretty much the only difficult thing in this one. Lay hold of instruction, lest at any time the Lord be angry, and ye perish from the righteous way. Hallelujah. Cool. Any questions on that? Pretty good. If you can tell, hopefully, you guys are getting good. You know.
Well, getting better.
Better.
No, I hate to fluff myself up, but I'm starting to feel the point that I'm not being a total embarrassment at the chanter stand.
Oh, no, not at all.
So it's.
I mean, I can't tell you how much I enjoyed Saturday Vespers. Just, I mean,
Yes.
the grave mode. I mean, it's a majestic tone anyway. But some of it was almost. At least for me, it was a little more effortless because I can feel you guys are kind of reading the music better. And then it's not as much of a struggle for you guys in terms of like, oh no, piece of music. It's kind of like, oh yeah, we got this, you know. So it's, I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Kind of, it's hopefully less strenuous and less.
No, I'm enjoying myself, and I'm even finding.
But you know what would make it a little easier is if you would forward those, whatever those things you're getting from whatever monk is sending you the prosomnia?
Yes. Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Because even if you just seen the words like before you're actually standing there, that's immensely helpful.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Okay. I mean, you don't have to like work it all out and put the little asterisk.
Yeah, so if I don't put in the asterisk, that's okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
Just shoot it to us. So,
yeah.
So at least you've seen the words.
Yeah, when I get it, I'll forward it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Because they're always, I get them about a week ahead of time, and I just don't actually get to them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just forward what you get.
Yeah.
That'll give us some practice in the asterisk.
Yeah. So, and I'll tell you what melody is, because he doesn't write the melody in there.
Oh, all right.
So I'll tell you that.
Oh, okay. That'd be useful. Okay, that'd be very helpful.
And it sounded like those went okay.
Yeah, it went okay, but like I said, if you're basically start reading the words and trying to remember the melody, which I think we remembered kind of well.
Yeah.
I keep telling you, Jim,
I think
you
by
just have
the
to
third
read
one.
his mind. You have to
By the
read his
third one
mind.
sounded better.
Develop psychic abilities, read his mind, and you're in like Flynn. It's no problem.
I was so glad that we got to do two of them because I like that melody, and I know that you guys know kind of the melody.
Know that one, yeah.
So I was glad that we got the opportunity to do at least two of them. But yeah, reading my mind is a.
Yeah, it's very helpful. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to let you know, in Pittsburgh, even with like all the chanters there, none of them knew the melodies, and I did because I wanted to learn them.
Oh yeah.
And then eventually, I was at the stand, and they were singing softly behind me and kind of following the melody as I was going. And by the third one or fourth one or whatever, however many we had, they kind of got it. And then the next time we did it, it was again the same thing. And over time, they eventually got used to them. But yeah. So I give you an option. Either we can go through the Apostica and try and finish that out, or we can look at these. I was telling Jeff that I have well-used
let's do those then.
Apolytikia.
Yeah. Yeah.
So okay, so I'll hand these out.
Like something new.
By the way, where does the grave mode fit into the book?
It's number 7.
Number 7?
Yep.
Okay.
It's funny. So
No one calls it Plague Hole.
Plague
it's not. It's no one calls it
2,
Plague Hole 3, and
Plague
then
Hole
it's Plague Hole 3. Yeah.
Okay.
And so you were at the concert, and Stefan kept saying tone 5 and tone 7, and George Theodolides at the Saint Sophia's, he was kind of like, Stefan, it's Plagal of the first. He was like, I don't know where you're getting these numbers from. And he was like, and this is the grave mode. He was like, there's no 7 in Byzantine chant. And it was funny because then eventually it became this thing where it's kind of like you push your limits by saying on purpose, we're going to chant the 5th tone. And it's kind of like, all right, Stefan. And I'm one that is patronizing. So I will give to whomever whatever it is that they're used to. I give you all Saint Patapius. Yeah.
Yay,
Synaxis. Yeah, we just had him. I just kind of went through. Essentially, December we kind of go through a lot of the things. And these, what I was telling Jeff is that these are the well-used Apolytikia, dismissal hymns, and that if you do Vespers every day, you realize, wait a minute, they repeat all the time. At least for certain saints, is that all they do is they change the name, or they don't even have the name in them. So, so this is one of those things that this is a really easy. In addition to the prosomia, all those original melodies, the Optomela. This is one thing that you don't have to think about, because you look at the words and you don't even have to have music in front of you, which is really convenient if you don't have to have music.
This one actually has a reference. Joseph was amazed, but the rest of them.
Well, that's because some of these are Optomela, but they're Optomela for hymns that we don't normally do because they're matins hymns.
Okay.
So let's say the first one I gave you, be quick to anticipate. That's the melody. Be quick to anticipate. Da, da, da, da, da, da. I don't know the rest of the words to that
But
one.
how do I organize this? By date or by name?
Oh, I just put them kind of in an order of usage, and I put one out of order.
I've got to organize them. What do you mean?
All my work to put them in order of usage. No, the problem is St. Anthony's, they put all these nice icons and nice headings on, and they take up 2 pages. And so then I put one out of order, at least in my set, because they were the 2 one-page ones, so I put them back and forth to each other. But the first one I'd like to do is December 13th.
Okay.
Thy martyrs,
Thank
our Lord.
you. Yes.
December 13th.
Did you do that too?
Yes, I did. 'Cause it's just, and then I halfway through it, and I said, wait a minute, what if he's going to say, okay, let's do Saint Lucia right now? And I'm going, oh my God!
Were they not
what is
before
that?
when they came out?
So this is where you have to. This is like Quiz Bowl. This is you got to know what day is Saint Lucy, Saint Lucia.
Oh,
Lucy's really
Lucia,
orthodox here.
whatever, Lucia.
Yeah,
Oh.
Lucy.
Oh, which one? What date are we on?
December 13th.
Which one? There are 2 of them. There's
Oh, there are?
Saint Lucia.
Oh,
and there
the
is
Holy Martyrs, Evstratius, Auxentius. Yeah, all those U's are actually V's or F's, at least in Greek. But Eustratius, Auxentius, Eugene, Mardarius, and Orestes. Yeah. We made a decision in Pittsburgh to try and pronounce all the U's as F's or V's. But it gets really hard with Auxentius. But you don't have to say any names.
I was going to say, you don't have to worry about that here.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that.
They're holy martyrs. Yeah.
So-
They can really let those names out.
So the thing is, so
What
this
do
is
you call it?
this is a prosomia. So be aware that is be quick to anticipate is the Optomela, the original melody. The model, this is just modeled after it. But most people, at least that I've in English, they know this one because this is used all the time. Thy martyrs, our Lord. But in a matins hymn, it'll say, be quick to anticipate. So be aware that in a matins hymn, you may already know the melody, because it's just this.
So this is just your basic martyr apology.
Martyrs. Yeah. So this one is for a male martyr
Mhm.
or a group of martyrs, whether it be male or female. And then we'll get to a female martyr in a second. So this is the fourth mode, but it's apolotikia are different, and apolotikia just means dismissal hymn. It's the first time you see it is at the dismissal of Vespers, so it gets the name dismissal hymn.
Oh.
So most people you hear it during liturgy, and it's not dismissing. You hear it during matins, and it's actually at the beginning, but its first usage and the first time you hear it is at the dismissal of Vespers. That's why it's called dismissal hymn. And apolisis, I think it's just dismissal. So it's the thing that dismisses, apolitikion. And eventually, when we get to, well, I'll say it right now anyway. When I go through Vespers, we'll talk about more things. But the Russians call these troparia.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. They are a troparia, but this isn't. A troparia is like a generic hymn for any hymn, and a politikion is a very specific hymn. A stikira is a very specific hymn. All these things are very specific names for them. A troparia, what I learned just recently actually, a troparia, the English term tropos is or to trope something is to expound upon it. Is a literary term to like expand upon some theme. So if you trope a religious text, you're essentially expanding upon it, which is what all these hymns do. The Stikira during Vespers, they take some psalm verse and they work around it, and they tell you how it relates to Christ, and they take the gospel reading, and they kind of do all these things. Or they expand upon the saint, and they essentially trope the saint. They trope whatever. So it gets the name troparia. So it's essentially it's a hymn that tropes some sort of text, something that you should be familiar with, and it expands upon it. So anything that does that is a troparia. So this is a troparia. Those things during Vespers are troparia. All of them are troparia. It's just some hymn that's been written by someone. It isn't scripture, and but it uses scripture as a basis. So.
But a politikion places it in the service at a particular
right.
point.
So an apolitikion is a specific
troparia that appears
troparia.
at this spot in the service.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
So sometimes if you're looking at Russian things, it'll say the troparion of the day, and it's kind of like. Yeah. And so when I talk to people, sometimes I'll say like, well, the troparion, and they're like, wait, but that's in the middle of Vespers. It's kind of like, it is a troparia though. And so it's just this terminology that gets lost. And I just learned what troparion means, and I was like, that's pretty cool. There's actually a reason behind it. So all these apolitikia are different in how they use the tones, and we'll get into that at some point. For now, we'll gloss over it. So this is soft chromatic from the fourth mode. So fourth mode, apolitikia are always soft, or most of the time, are soft chromatic, and I'll talk about when they're not. That's the next one, is not.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Quick come across a kind of example.
Ne, ne. So this one, we will kind of ignore all the half flats and half sharps, or third of flats and all those things. So. Ne, ne, ne, ne. That's our kind of scale.
All right.
So we'll just read through it, just on the words.
Okay.
Thy martyrs, O Lord, in their courageous contest for thee, received as the prize the crowns of incorruption and life from thee, our immortal God. For since they possess thy strength, they cast down the tyrants, and wholly destroyed the demon's strengthless presumption. O Christ God, by their prayers save our soul, since thou art merciful. Cool.
That's another thing that reminded me that I'm getting better at scanning ahead, so when you turn the page, I'm not lost.
Okay. Yeah, I was realizing
Yes.
sometimes that I turn the page like when I'm ready, and then I'm like, uh-oh.
But she's there. She's
It's like this
Yeah.
much this much love this thing. Oh, wait, what?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh no, but I got it. I got
Slap
it.
it back.
Right.
Not yet.
So the one thing with this one at the end, O Christ God, by their prayer save our souls. Sometimes I pause there because sometimes you might need to breathe there. It depends on the day.
But you shouldn't expect this, which is what I did.
Yeah.
I
So
pause there.
what I would do is kind of put a plus sign there.
Yeah.
You know, as this is an appropriate place.
Mhm.
And so the only thing that will change with this one is if it's thy martyrs or thy martyr.
Right.
That's the only thing that changes.
Mm-hmm.
And then the little pronouns there, for since they or for since he.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that changes with this one. Besides that, it's kind of straightforward. Let's sing it again a little faster. Thy martyrs, O Lord, in their courageous contest for thee, received as the prize the crowns of incorruption and life from thee, our immortal God. For since they possess thy strength, they cast down the tyrants, and wholly destroyed the demon's strengthless presumption. O Christ God, by their prayer save our souls, since thou art merciful. I think it works better with the pause, because it's, O Christ God, by their prayer save our souls, since thou art...
Yeah, what? Say what?
Yeah, it kind of doesn't give you a pause there, which I think naturally, when speaking, you would
You'd say that.
yeah, O Christ God, by their prayers save our souls, since thou art merciful. So, okay, move on?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe after we're done, we'll see how much time we have. We'll see what we do. Okay, the next one, St. Lucia, December 13th again. I just picked these, again, representative. This is, again, it's a model melody. So this is the Joseph was amazed melody. So Joseph was amazed to see that which transcended nature's bounds. This is a fun one. I love this one, especially when you can sing it fast. If you sing it slow, it's a little belabored. So if you were to go, oh Lord Jesus, it's kind of slow and pedantic. But when you sing it fast, it's a wonderful melody. There's little new variants on these melodies. There's always variants. But this is a nice one. This one is to female martyrs, and this is again a nice one. So you see it to anytime there's specifically a solo female martyr, she normally gets this guy.
Okay.
This one, instead of being in soft chromatic, it's hard chromatic. Now the funny part about this is how this happens. I don't know exactly all the history, but apparently over time, I think it's in Turkey at some point when they were under the Ottoman oppression, people they took away the İhsan people because they could only pay a certain amount of people to sing, and so when eventually singing became a profession for the church, before it wasn't, and then there's a whole thing about that, and we can talk about that at some point.
I'd like to do that someday.
Yeah, I'm actually reading a little thing on it, and there's a talk on it. It's about an hour. That's brilliant. It's very good. But so eventually it became this profession that you get paid for. And then at some point, because you couldn't pay someone to do İhsan and someone to do melody because they were under Muslim oppression, they could only pay melody. So then what ended up happening with certain hymns is that the little accidentals, the little nuances in the scale got stretched. So you end up tone 1 in certain circumstances toned into soft chromatic. It's a really weird thing how it happened. And the same thing here. It ends up that tone 4 ended up borrowing something from Turkish music and then ended up stretching certain of the elements, so this became, instead of soft chromatic, hard chromatic.
Wow.
There is a soft chromatic version of this, which is used for other things, but from talking to people, you very seldom see it, and it's a historical thing that some people know about, but unless you try to reproduce it, it may not exist. So technically this one should be soft chromatic, 4th mode, Joseph was amazed. But when I was talking to someone, I said, well, why don't you have that one up here? Papa Ephraim, I was talking to him. And I believe he said, no, it does it that way. So he was like, I can put it up there as such, but it's not right. Or it's not the common practice. So not that it's incorrect, but it's not the common practice. So hard chromatic. So the introduction to this one is, ne na no. It's ne na no. So ne na no. O Lord Jesus, unto thee thy lamb doth cry with a great voice. O my bridegroom, thee I love, and seeking thee I now contest, and with thy baptism am crucified and buried. as a spotless sacrifice. Lord, save our souls through her intercessions, since thou art great in mercy. We'll go through that again. So it's a little long.
Something went weird. Something went, and it's, I think it was my voice, not the notes.
Okay.
Maybe when we go through it again, I'll do so well.
So this one just goes back and forth, kind of between hard chromatic and diatonic. You get little enharmonic symbols just to tell you to flat that guy. But they're pretty much canceled immediately. So so I don't know why exactly you put an enharmonic symbol as opposed to a flat. Maybe at some point I'll figure that out. Yeah. This one.
This is gorgeous. You're right. This is.
And this one is it's on the personhood of the martyr, and it kind of fits with how she's calling out, and I suffer for thy sake that I may reign with thee, and it kind of you can tell that there's almost this mysterious beauty behind it, which is the idea of martyrdom. This doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but there's a beauty behind it nonetheless.
It's a longing. You can hear her longing to be with him.
And it's weird how that, I don't know how it just happens. I don't know exactly why, but it's in the melody. O Lord Jesus, unto thee thy lamb doth cry with a great voice. O my bridegroom, thee I love, and seeking thee I now contest, and with thy baptism am crucified and buried. I suffer for thy sake, that I may reign with thee. For thy sake I die, that I may live in thee. Accept me offered out of longing to thee as a spotless sacrifice. Lord, save our souls through her intercessions, since thou art great in mercy. Cool.
Yeah, save our souls. There's something about save our souls through her intercessions that just, it sounds like you're singing suddenly a different song.
Yep. Sacrifice. Lord, save our souls through her intercessions, since thou art great in mercy. It goes into diatonic there from Zoe. That's that little squiggly guy. Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm not familiar with it. Squiggly.
It's the squiggly guy with the cross at the top. So that's, instead of being Vu, it's Zoe.
Okay. Oh, there he is. I see him. So.
Yeah, and it kind of, it does change there. Yeah, and if you, I think Patricia, you have my Christmas CD, right? Did I give you the Christmas CD from Pittsburgh?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so if you listen on there.
I bought it.
What? Oh.
I bought both of them.
All right.
At that class, just to let you know.
All right.
Supporting y'all.
Thank you. So I don't know, Jeff, do you have them or?
No.
I'll have to bring them by, but in there we have 3 of them because for Christmas for Matins it's this melody.
Okay.
So the Kathisma on the CD we do a slightly different melody. You can tell that it's the same, but it's what the Arab what some of the Arab composers have done with it. So Mitri El-Mor, he's one of the foremost Arab composers of these music, and put it all into, they were doing all Greek, and then now they're doing Arabic because he wrote out the music. So it's slightly different. So instead of being, O Lord Jesus, unto thee, it's like, Joseph was amazed to see that which transcended nature's bound. Same thing, but nuanced a little bit. Okay, moving on. So if you listen to that and you're like, wait, this sounds familiar. It is familiar. Yeah.
Well, it is time to try out that CD.
Yeah. Again, we have fourth mode. A lot of these Troparia are in, or Politikia are in fourth mode.
Mm-hmm.
And some people hate that, and so I just say get used to it. It is.
Get over it.
Yeah.
It's not about you.
So this one is for hierarchs, especially well-known hierarchs. Any type of bishop. So you get Nicholas, you get Ambrose, you get Meletios, a whole bunch of hierarchs. And so essentially what you do is if you look at the December 6th.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oops. I was on a higher mark, but not on this December 6th.
Yeah. So this is the truth of things hath revealed thee to thy flock as a rule of faith. The only thing that gets changed is O Father and Hierarch Nicholas, or O Father and Hierarch Ambrose, or O Father and Hierarch whoever.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing it with just the words, you just got to figure out how to fit the name in there.
Right.
So O Father and Hierarch Nicholas. So O Father and Hierarch Ambrose.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be Ambrose. Yeah. Exactly. And so then sometimes you get O Father and Hierarch Meletios. So Hierarch comes earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of depends on the name, but most of the time they're pretty close. It's either 2, 3, or 4 syllables, so they all kind of fit in there. If it's more than that, I can't help you. So Neones. Again, Neones is the intro for this. Neones. The truth of things hath revealed thee to thy flock as a rule of faith, an icon of meekness and a teacher of temperance. For this cause thou hast achieved the heights by humility, riches by poverty. O Father and Hierarch Nicholas, intercede with Christ God, that our souls be saved. Cool. Hopefully what you'll notice is these are pretty much single syllables.
Yeah.
Per note.
Mm-hmm.
These are meant to be memorizable, easy especially for the congregation, and these are essentially, if you were doing some sort of parade or some sort of march on the ruling hierarch that was against you, you would sing these things, so you can see, the truth of things hath revealed thee to thy flock. It's almost like, it's marchy.
Yeah.
There's some are more marchy than others, so you can tell those, O Lord save thy people, that's a march. That's the the battle hymn of the Orthodox. And the national anthem of the Byzantine Empire. So it's
Really?
Yeah. So.
Whoa.
Which when we talk about matins, it's very interesting when you look at how things are structured. And I'll just say a little bit now. The first 3 things you do, there's 3 troparia that you don't sing but you say, or politikia that you don't sing but you say. And it, as Stefan, my friend from Pittsburgh, he likes to say, it's like what do you do in a baseball game? You sing the national anthem, then you introduce the major players. At matins, what do? You sing the national anthem, O Lord save thy people, glory to the Father, then you introduce Christ, both now and ever, then you introduce his mother. And sure enough, that's how it works. And
playing tight end is
exactly. And it's funny, the structure, it's very much a banquet structure, and how a lot of our things like sports are structured. There's a banquet thing to it, and how you introduce, how you represent, and how you interact with people. So we'll talk about that over time. And when we get to Vespers proceeding into Matins, into the Divine Liturgy being the banquet, it's very interesting. It's very cool. And then of course, behold, the bridegroom comes at midnight, and we're invited to this banquet, and we don't want to be shut out. So it all comes full circle. It's a very interesting. The Holy Fathers and Mothers are very intelligent people. And well, either that or it was revealed to them.
Yes.
So either
I'm
they're
going for the revelation.
they're very good at listening.
Yeah.
So and spelling it out in words to give us puzzle pieces. So let's do this one again. The other thing I wanted to say before I got on a tangent. Intercede with Christ our God. It's a little bit fast, so if you don't have enough time, if you can't do that, sometimes it's intercede with Christ God. if that's too fast or Christ God, you might not be able to flutter in there, or you could just take your time. O Father and Hierarch Nicholas, intercede with Christ God, that our souls be saved. You know, kind of take your time and go back into rhythm. And it deserves, intercede with Christ our God, deserves some mentioning. You know, it can take some time. Neones, the truth of things hath revealed thee to thy flock as a rule of faith, an icon of meekness and a teacher of temperance. For this cause thou hast achieved the heights by humility, riches by poverty. O Father and Hierarch Nicholas, intercede with Christ God, that our souls be saved. Nice. Very good. Very good. Next one. Salvus the Sanctified, December 5th.
I just did that.
Okay. Plagal fourth mode. So if it's not fourth, it's Plagal fourth.
Right.
This one is for a righteous monastic. Normally there's some sort of desert dweller, although oftentimes that desert is their soul. Yeah, or Constantinople. Yeah, exactly. They found a desert in the depth of their soul. I think it was I don't know. I think it was Saint Ignatius Bryanchaninov of Russia, who was always with the people, and he was always there. And they said, how do you have time to pray, or how do you find time to pray? And he was like, I descend into my soul where I find my own Jordan desert. He was like, I can't go to the Jordan desert and be like the desert fathers. He was like, so I find that in the depths of my heart. So wherever that desert is, and wherever they're cultivating it, whether that be for people or for the Holy Spirit, nevertheless, righteous monastic, Saint Salvus being a foremost example. So
now that's something we need as a book, is how to cultivate the desert in our busy life.
yeah. Well, it's and I love the fact that Father mentioned Patapios that did that,
yes,
because it's like, well, of course these monks can go to the desert and do all this. And I love the fact that he's like, no matter where you go, you're there. Which is so true. But nevertheless, the fact that it can be done in the midst of society, and that you don't have to go outside of it. And I think it's the story of Saint Anthony where. St. Anthony thinks he's all that, and then God says, "You're nothing." He was like, then he shows him a vision of a doctor.
Oh yeah, Alexander.
Yes.
Who has children, and
prays with the angels, gives everything he has before.
Yeah, and who has put him to shame, multiple times, tenfold, and it's like, become like him, and you will be saved. And so it's like children working in all these things. It's kind of like it's doable. In the midst of whatever it is. So it gives us all hope. It also puts us to shame tremendously.
Oh, tremendously.
So, with the streams of thy tears. Again, tears is, I think Father Hopko always loved to say, quoting one of the fathers, that without tears you can't be saved. It's kind of like, nuts. Us guys and our lack of tears. So with the streams of thy tears. Na na. With the streams of thy tears, thou didst cultivate the barrenness of the desert. Oh, one thing to say. Sometimes, it does things that you don't expect. Barrenness of the desert. And then, if you notice, everyone in the congregation will go, the desert. I'm trying to push that it's not that. And there is a reason for that. You'll see, if you look at the third line, in labors. But if you go on the next page, righteous Father, righteous Father, as opposed to the last one, Christ God, that our souls be saved. What's different there? What's different there? I give it to you guys. What's different? Why did souls be saved get it, and why did righteous Father and the other ones not get it?
Oh, I don't know.
Other than the lollipop, no.
I can tell you. So, of the desert, 1, 2, 3, 4. Uh,
It's a county thing?
Put in labors, that's 4. Salve us, our righteous Father, that our souls be saved. 5. Okay, 5 syllables, not 4. So it depends on the accents, and it depends how many syllables you have. So if you have 5, it's going to be that our souls be saved. If you don't have that, it's going to be not put in labors. And it's one of those things that, yes, you could do in labors, but that's not how it's been written for for centuries, and that's not how the hymns work. So that because there's patterns and there's syllable patterns and numbers and all these things, that can be kind of codified because people compose. It's the same with icons. The reason why we know Christ looks like that, like a certain thing, is because people are not just painting whatever they want. They're painting in alignment with a certain tradition. The same with all these hymns. They're not composing whatever they want, except for last night, as some of the hymns that Jeff heard. Some of those are but in general, everything is composed within a certain structure and foundation. So the same way, the composer has freedom and can kind of do what he wants with the hymn text and kind of painting the melody, but nevertheless, it's within some sort of confines. So those confines in iconography, those confines in hymnography, it's all there, and it's to make sure that we don't have someone going off the deep end and doing what they want. So
that's what we have the Catholics for.
Yeah. Well, it's the same with prayer too. If you think, you always start with the prayers of the church because you want to define how you're praying, and the saints over time through revelation and through their own struggles have defined how that prayer comes about and what is most salvific and what is most imbued with the Holy Spirit. So you always start with that, and then from there you go to another place. But in general, if you have those confines, that prayer can be sanctified. So the same with hymns, the same with iconography. So
when we're doing group prayer at work, Rita and I like to count the heresies that come about from extemporaneous prayer.
It's amazing.
Going,
yeah. Yeah. And it's
yeah. Yes.
and it's one of those things, like if you're not, like, what I found over time is that if you get used to praying the prayers of the church, whether it be the services or the hours or like just the personal morning and evening prayers, eventually your prayer set, like when you do personal prayer, like it structures itself.
It becomes much easier. You don't just sit there like everybody's like, thank you God for today, thank you for our work.
Yeah.
You just start hearing the same thing over, and it sounds really.
Yeah.
I found it much easier to do extempore prayer.
Yeah.
I try not to.
So even though this doesn't have a name to it, does this count as a Domelon or not?
That's interesting.
Domela? What is this word?
Oftomela. Original melody.
Oftomela.
These had names. Like that's the original hymn, and then this is like just a.
Oh, okay, I see.
So
Prosomia are the ones
Not
that are
like
written.
Jesus was amazed. I mean, Joseph was amazed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So just to give a little bit of explanation,
I mean, would you say like the tune of Saint Salvus the Sanctified? No, you probably wouldn't, right?
No. Well, I think because you never have another hymn. So Oftomela, Afto is the or this, and then Mela is melos, the melody. So then you have, when you see, like, I think the other day we had the original melody at Vespers. I don't know if you saw that for Salvus, actually. He has the original melody for one of the hymns of Vespers. And so it says original melody there, which it would just say Oftomela. So Prosomia is like the melody. It's like something else. This one, with the streams of thy tears, doesn't have anything else that's written to its melody. So while it is,
I understand.
Yeah.
You say we use this over and over again, but you're just basically saying the same word.
Yeah, it's not like someone would say. Yeah, it's not like someone would say to the tune of with the streams of thy tears.
I guess that's how they reference it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So until something is written to the same melody that's not exactly this,
right?
Then it's just
exactly. Yeah.
It's just that you'll reuse this for any righteous monastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's actually sing through the hymn since we didn't actually get through it. But I mean, does that make sense with the desert and all those things?
Yeah. No.
And so I'm trying to hopefully push that people will get used to it, because it is a very familiar thing to go na, and yeah, I'm hoping that people will get used to it over time. That it's not always that.
I mean, people singing. I mean, who are you talking about? Like people singing along with this?
Yeah, people do.
Do they?
Yeah, I mean, especially when they hear like da da da da da da da da da da da da da da da, and then they know something's coming out. Da da. It's the people jumping onto the melody. It's amazing. The Antiochian churches, at least in America, they're famous for this because when you'll do like set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth and a protecting door round about my lips, the way that people normally do that, protecting door round about my lips, people want to do that. And so they always jump in on the last line, and they always jump in on the same thing.
They jump in wrong.
Sometimes they jump in wrong, unless you train them correctly.
And Nick is on a mission to
Yeah.
train the congregation
We're
of St.
training them.
Mary.
Yeah, so they get you. Well, and it's funny because if they do, the young people that we had back in Pittsburgh that would come to Vespers all the time, and we had a good amount of people that would come. Eventually, they just get used to it, and they would sing the entire like from Lord I Cried up until the cure of the day, and then like they just knew what like the tone that we were singing, and they could sing with us. And then some people ended up joining the choir because they were like, wait, what is the hymn that goes da da da da da da da da da da da da? And I was like, wait a minute. And then I showed them a piece of text and I said, sing this. And they're like, but I can't sing with those words. And I was like, no, it's to the melody of da da da da da da da. And then she sang it with the melody. And I was like, all right, you want to be in the choir?
You've passed.
Yes,
Yeah.
you've passed. Yes.
If you can do that from the pew without even thinking about it. So, okay, with the streams of thy tears. Na na. With the streams of thy tears, thou didst cultivate the barrenness of the desert, and by thy sighings from the depths, thou didst bear fruit 100-fold in labors, and thou becamest a luminary, shining with miracles upon the world. O Savas, our righteous Father, intercede with Christ God that our souls be saved. Nice. And obviously, O Savas, our righteous Father, O Ephthemius, our righteous Father, O somebody, our righteous Father. So he's got to figure out how to fit them in there. Oh, Patapios, whatever however it would work, even though he has a different hymn, but
Yeah, I mean that'd be pretty easy to do. Doesn't matter how many syllables really. Oh da da da da.
so yeah, so long as you went on da da dun dun dun dun da. Okay, you want to sing that again, or was that pretty good?
Yeah,
Or?
no, that would be good.
With the streams of thy tears, thou didst cultivate the barrenness of the desert, and by thy sighings from the depths, thou didst bear fruit 100-fold in labors, and thou becamest a luminary, shining with miracles upon the world. O Savas, our righteous Father, intercede with Christ God that our souls be saved. Nice. Hopefully you see there's a repetitiveness to them, memorizable.
Oh yeah. That's,
So,
see if you do these often enough, or just sing through them often enough.
yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out who's going to be on Wednesday for us to do. I'll have to look online.
I will not be here. I
Okay.
will be at training in Philadelphia.
That's fine. Oh, and I asked about the relics. I don't think they're there anymore. Sadly.
Well, of course, given that we're going to get more snow in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're supposed to get snow here
That's what I heard.
tonight, right?
Yeah, they're talking about 2 to 3 inches here, and then 3 to 5 in Philadelphia.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I've got to beat the storm to get up there.
Oh, the interesting thing, my mom was telling me, she ended up being sick on St. Catherine's Day,
Oh.
and so she couldn't go to New Calendar St. Catherine's Day. And then, but she lives my grandmother lives next door to this church that had the relics of St. Catherine and St. Who is it?
You were just saying, was it?
It was a Saint
Philothea.
Philothea.
Yeah. Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so then my mom was like, and they had unction and all these things, and she was like, well, I'll go to that. And the priest called her to let her know, and then she was like, are you having the service now? Why the relics of St. Catherine here? And they're like, oh, it's the old calendar feast of St. Catherine. And I was like, I missed it on the new calendar. She was like, and St. Catherine comes to me.
Oh,
You know, this is wonderful.
yay.
It's like it's wonderful how the saints work. And she was distraught that she missed it.
Mhm.
And then St. Catherine comes in handy.
to her.
Yeah. So.
Oh, she couldn't hang out for me, huh? Well, okay.
Well, you got to the services here, right?
Yeah, that's true, but
So-
I'd like to marry.
Yes. We'll see. We'll have to get Father to request. I don't know how you get relics to come to your church. I guess you must ask for them. I don't know. St. John's, it seems like they get relics to visit all the time.
Fine.
And certain churches, they come all the time. So we'll have to put ourselves out there.
Yeah.
So we'll have to be like, we're people too.
Yeah, Father, we want some relics to come visit us.
Okay, and the image was preserved with exactness. This is for.
Which one? December or?
Oh,
which
December
person?
8th, sorry.
December 8th.
Yeah, Patapius.
The Papias.
So this one.
Platypus.
Platypus. So this one is for a righteous father or mother. I have to think. I think they're just somebody who threw it all away. They just gave everything up.
They just gave up.
No, they gave everything up.
Oh, okay.
Threw it all away.
They threw it away.
So, because this one, and because Patapius did that, Melania did that, all these other ones, Melanie did that, and essentially, what it says, for taking up thy cross, that is follow Christ, and by thy deeds thou dost teach us to overlook the flesh, for it passes away, but to attend to the soul, since it is immortal. So it's that type of thing. I'll have to look at specifically what's the common thread in these, but I think it's at least somebody who gave up everything and followed Christ in whatever age they were. Okay.
There's your overlook the.
Yeah.
Overlook the flesh.
Overlook the flesh. Yeah, exactly.
Your rule holds.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yes. If it, I'm glad it does. So yeah, just pay attention to that when it comes up. And if you ever and if we are composing music at some point, it'll be something to keep in mind. So, in the image. Na na. In the image was preserved with exactness, O Father or Mother. So sometimes it's Mother.
Right.
For taking up thy cross, thou didst follow Christ. And by thy deeds thou didst teach us to overlook the flesh, for it passeth away, but to attend to the soul, since it is immortal. Wherefore, O righteous Patapius, thy spirit rejoiceth with the angels. Okay. So, father or mother, and then
abruptly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess because it doesn't do with the angels.
Sometimes we're doing it on Saturday too. They're ending abruptly.
Yep.
You want the usual.
Yeah. Yeah, which it's funny because it sounds abrupt, but eventually, once you get used to it, it's like natural.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sure.
I can tell you that like it just like reading this, I'm kind of like, well, of course we did that, But initially, I was kind of like, why is it not this awesome melody that I love, But it's. I had a priest ask me, a Romanian priest, and he said, why do some of the Byzantine melodies dumb down the melody? He was like, Nick, it's da, and he was like, and sometimes it goes da da da da. I was like, no, it doesn't dumb it down. It's a different usage. So.
Just hold on.
So, but yeah, O righteous Patapius, O righteous whoever. Wherefore, O righteous Melania, thy spirit. So you have something else in there. Sing it again, or?
Yeah.
In thee the image was preserved with exactness, O Father. For taking up thy cross, thou didst follow Christ, and by thy deeds thou didst teach us to overlook the flesh. For it passeth away, but to attend to the soul, since it is immortal. Wherefore, O righteous Patapius, thy spirit rejoiceth with the angels. And I assume, I don't know, but when there's the bar over the line, everybody knows that that's the.
Yeah.
Okay, I've gone to some people and they don't know that, so I just wanted to make sure. I guess grammatically, people aren't always taught that. I don't know.
Pronunciation guides.
So,
Well, I've never seen it done that way except in these.
yeah, and it's very convenient
I
actually
mean,
when
whether
they do
people know
that.
to say the angels instead of the angels. I don't know.
I've seen it in some Western notation.
Have you?
Yeah.
So this coming Thursday. Oh, it's Spiridon.
Yeah.
Spiridon.
Wait, he has a whole different. Okay, he has a whole different him because he's big enough.
That's right. He's got his own thing, man. He just have to borrow.
Yeah. He's
got a big
Just have to borrow
halo.
Savis's.
Yeah, take it off the shelf.
That's right.
Yeah, your generic off the shelf.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's just repurpose this one.
He's got a big halo.
Yeah, he's a Kleenex brand as opposed to the just the regular tissue from
Costco.
Giant. Yeah,
Kirkland.
yeah, Kirkland. Okay, so let's go. At least I think we have. How many more do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll have to stop.
All right.
But let's do one more.
All right.
Just the Holy Apostles since this is easy, and then we'll stop there. Oh, the January 4th.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh,
When do you
wow.
head up to Philadelphia for Christmas?
The 19th or the 20th, whatever the Friday before.
You're leaving awfully early.
I know.
Oh, when are you coming back? When are you gonna be back here?
I'll be back January 2nd.
Oh, you're gonna be gone. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Why?
I was just trying to figure out when we're all gonna get together and sing these freaking antiphons.
Oh, right, yeah.
No, we're not.
Well, I do have to figure out what I'm doing for New Year's. If I have to figure out where I'm
I
gonna
mean, I
be for
think
New Year's.
it'll be January now. It's not gonna.
So yeah, either sometime either for New Year's or right after New Year's I'll be back because
Right.
I'm going back to work on the 2nd. So
Oh,
I have to
yeah.
figure out whether what my family is doing, whether I'm going to a monastery, whether people from here are going up to Elwood City, whether I should just come down here for the games and whatever else they do here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what people do. So
Finally went last year. That was, games, a little bit of games,
Yeah.
food, talk,
yeah,
the Te Deum. It's,
Yeah.
It's nice. It's not
yeah.
do, but it's still nice.
Yeah, I'll have to see. I haven't been home in so many years. Last year I was gone, and all the rest of the years I was at Elwood City for a New Year's, so which is awesome.
Oh,
I don't know if you guys have ever been up to Elwood City for New Year's.
no.
It's more like a college student thing, but eventually once you graduate from that, then you just kind of get to watch them.
Yeah.
But it's a really enjoyable time, and they sing carols and do all sorts of stuff.
Oh, cool.
Outside of it's a very nice way to ring in the New Year.
Mhm.
And Holy Apostles. So this is used for when you have multiple apostles, in this case the synaxis of the Holy 70 Apostles, which are outside of the 12, I believe. It's the 70 extra apostles.
Yes. Mhm.
And synaxis, synaxis?
Meeting.
Gathering, yeah, the
Yeah.
gathering or meeting. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily, sometimes it means the gathering, like there was an actual gathering of people. Sometimes it means just the church
It's
is
a group,
gathering
right.
together to meet. So, and normally, there's also a synaxis right after the feast of Saints Peter and Paul, because it's like Saint Peter and Paul, the leaders of the apostles,
Mhm.
and then you have the next day is the synaxis
Mhm.
also of the 12, because it's like let's have a celebration for the rest of them.
Yes.
So that it happens with pretty much all the feasts. The day after is the other major players in the feast. So I don't know if you guys have noticed that or not, or
I was confused by it.
so oftentimes like if you have the theophany, it's like you have John, but then like the
Right.
day after you have his parents or something
Right.
like that, or the other players. So if it's not for a whole bunch of apostles or for just a generic apostle, then it'd be, oh holy apostle somebody, Onesimus, and so it would add the name in there. Or if it's one of the evangelists, oh holy apostle and evangelist Luke, it would add another little epithet in there.
Mhm.
So just little nuances, but the ending is always the same. Intercede with the merciful God. So it's just the first part that changes. Let's sing it. This is the third mode. Na na. O holy apostles, intercede with the merciful God, that he grant unto our souls forgiveness of offenses. One after another, syllables. So, one more time. O holy apostles, intercede with the merciful God, that he grant unto our souls forgiveness of offenses. Cool. Simple, straightforward, really short. Cool.
All right.
So we'll stop there. We'll finish them out, I guess, next week. And I think that'll be the last until the new year.
All right.
And I was telling Jeff that if you guys